Hello and welcome back to the BeLingui channel.
Hey everyone, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alex. So, Sarah, I was reading a fascinating and slightly scary statistic the other day. If you had to guess, how many times on average do you think a person unlocks their phone in a single day?
Wow, what a question. Let me think. On a normal day, maybe 50 times? 60? I feel like I'm on it all the time, so I'll guess high. 80 times?
80 was your high guess, and you hit it right on the nose. The average is over 80 times a day. And the most shocking part is that many of these times are completely unconscious, almost a reflex.
80. That's unbelievable. That averages out to what, like 5 or 6 times an hour? If we only count the time we're awake. That's so much. It's no wonder we feel so fragmented.
Exactly. It's a reflex. And that's precisely what we're going to talk about today. How we can take back control of our attention in a world that seems designed to steal it every second. We're going to dive into what's called deep work.
Deep work. I like the sound of that. It sounds important and calm. It's the opposite of how I feel most of the time, which is constantly jumping from one thing to another.
That's exactly the idea. To understand what deep work is, the best way is to use an analogy. Imagine that your mind is a large, beautiful lake.
Okay, I'm picturing it. A lake with crystal clear water.
Perfect. Now, most of our daily activities happen on the surface of this lake. This is what we call shallow work. It's like skipping stones on the water, creating little ripples and commotion. Answering quick emails, checking notifications, liking a photo, replying to a chat message, all of this is noise on the surface. You're busy, the water is moving, but you're not really going anywhere, and you can't see what's at the bottom.
Wow, what a perfect image. I feel like I live my entire life skipping stones on that lake. It's constant agitation, and at the end of the day, the surface is all stirred up, and I'm exhausted, but I don't feel like I've built anything solid.
Exactly. Now, deep work is the opposite. It's like putting on scuba gear and slowly descending into the deep, calm waters of the lake. Down there, the noise from the surface disappears. There are no ripples, no distractions. Everything becomes quiet and clear. And it's in that place, at the bottom, that you can find the hidden treasures, the big ideas, the solutions to complex problems, true creativity.
Wow. And the problem is that we spend so much time on the surface, skipping stones, that we forget this incredible, treasure-filled bottom exists. We even become afraid to dive because the surface is so noisy and addictive.
Afraid, or we simply forget how. The diving muscle, our concentration muscle, atrophies. And this doesn't just affect our work, it affects our leisure time too.
Oh, don't even get me started. That leads me directly to a situation that happens to me almost every night. It's the perfect example of shallow work invading my personal life.
Tell us, I'm sure a lot of people will relate.
All right, here's the scene. End of the day, I'm tired, and all I want to do is relax and read a little. I buy books, I have a beautiful stack on my nightstand, and I think, tonight I'm going to read for at least 15 minutes. I set everything up, I make some tea, grab my favorite blanket, and sit in the most comfortable armchair in the house. The atmosphere is perfect.
The ideal setting for a deep dive into the lake of fiction.
Exactly. So I pick up the book, open it to my page, I read the first paragraph, start getting into the story, imagining the characters, and then, bzz, my phone, which is right there beside me, vibrates. I think, I'm not going to look, I'm reading. But my mind is already gone. The curiosity is eating away at me. What if it's important? I grab it. It's just a notification for a like on a photo I posted 3 hours ago.
The famous like that couldn't wait.
Exactly. I put the phone back down with a hint of irritation. I go back to the book. Where was I? Oh, right. I reread the paragraph to get back on track. I managed to read another 2 pages. The story is getting good. Bzzzt. Again. Now it's a message from a friend in a group chat, a funny meme. I look at it, chuckle a bit, and as I go to reply, I see another unread message from someone else. By the time I finally look up at the clock, 10 or 15 minutes have passed, and I'm still on the same page of the book. The feeling isn't relaxation, it's immense frustration, an anxiety that I can no longer do something as simple as read.
Your story is the perfect illustration of the problem. And what's most important to understand here is that the real cost wasn't just the time you lost, those 10 minutes. The real, deeper cost is the loss of immersion, of pleasure, and of flow.
Totally. What was supposed to be a refuge became a battle.
Exactly. With every interruption, no matter how small, your brain is forced to do something neuroscientists call context switching. Imagine your brain is a computer. When you're reading, it's running the book program, which uses a lot of memory and processing power to create that world in your head. The notification forces you to close that program and quickly open the social media program. Then you have to close the social media program and try to reopen the book program from scratch.
And every time you do that, the computer gets slower and uses more energy. That's why it's so tiring.
Precisely. This context switching is extremely expensive in terms of mental energy. And the result is that feeling you described, anxiety and the dangerous belief that I just can't concentrate anymore. It's not that you don't have the ability. It's that you're constantly sabotaging your concentration engine before it can even warm up.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. It's discouraging, but it's also a relief to know it's not a personal failure, but a process happening in our brains. So, what's the way out? How do we, in practice, create this space for the deep dive?
The solution needs to be as simple and direct as the problem is powerful. I call it phone jail.
Phone jail. I love the name. It's very dramatic. How does it work?
It's very simple. Before you start an activity that requires focus, like reading your book, you need to make a physical decision. You're going to take your phone and put it in another room. Not just leaving it on silence on the table next to you, not turning it face down. You have to create a physical barrier between you and it. Put it to charge in the kitchen or inside a drawer in the office.
In another room. That seems so obvious, but at the same time, so radical. We feel this need to have it nearby, just in case.
And that's the key. The rule needs to be binary, with no room for negotiation. Either the phone is with you or it's in jail. This physical barrier removes the temptation almost completely. The effort of having to get up, walk to another room, and get the phone is usually greater than the momentary curiosity to check a notification. You're making the distraction inconvenient.
I can see how that would work. The laziness of getting up from my comfy armchair would be a great guard against distraction. And the idea is to do this for a short period, right? It's not about getting rid of the phone forever.
Exactly. Start small. Tell yourself, my phone is going to be in jail for 20 minutes while I read. It's such a short period of time that your mind won't panic about missing something urgent. And in those 20 minutes, you'll give your brain a chance to really dive into the lake without any stones being skipped on the surface.
Okay, I'm going to try that tonight. Phone jail. It seems like a powerful first step to start training that concentration muscle again.
And this frustration we feel when trying to read a book, this battle for focus on something that, in theory, we enjoy doing, is the exact same dynamic that sabotages our productivity and quality at work. If it's already hard to focus on something pleasurable, imagine when we need to concentrate on a complex and demanding task at the office.
Oh, absolutely. At work, the problem is elevated to another level because it's not just our own distractions, it's the expectations of others. It's the culture of always being available.
Exactly. Let's take our lake to the professional environment. The task now isn't reading a book, but writing an important report, or maybe preparing a crucial presentation, or even drafting that complex email that needs to be careful with every word.
I know this scenario well. You sit at your desk, open a blank document. You have every intention of focusing completely on it. But what else is open on your computer screen?
Your email inbox is there, open in another tab, showing the number of unread messages in bold. The team chat app is in the corner of the screen, with the icon flashing with every new message. Calendar notifications remind you of a meeting in 2 hours.
And then you start. You write the first 2 sentences of the report. Ping! A new email arrives. The subject line looks semi-important. You click, read it, and reply quickly to get it out of the way. Okay, back to the report. Where was I? Ah, yes. You write another paragraph. Bling! A message in the group chat. Someone's asking a question. You answer because you don't want to seem like you're not helping the team. Back to the report. And so it goes.
In the end, a task that, with full focus, would take an hour to complete with excellence, ends up dragging on for the entire morning. You're constantly stopping and starting. It's like trying to drive a car in heavy traffic, accelerating and braking every 20 feet. You never gain momentum.
And here, again, the real cost is much greater than just the lost time. At work, the cost is the quality of what you deliver and your own mental exhaustion. The final report, done in this fragmented process, will probably be mediocre. Maybe it has typos, maybe the reasoning isn't as clear because it never received your full, continuous attention.
Exactly. You couldn't make the deep connections, the ones at the bottom of the lake. You just stayed on the surface, hastily gathering information. And the worst part is the feeling at the end of the day. You feel completely drained, like you've run a mental marathon. But when you look back at what you actually produced of value, the list is short. You were busy, but you weren't productive.
That is the worst feeling in the world. The exhaustion of empty busyness. You feel like you worked so hard, but you're not proud of anything you did. It's demoralizing and, in the long run, a perfect recipe for burnout.
Fortunately, just as there's a solution for the book, there's one for the report. If in our personal life we have phone jail, in our professional life we can use the focus blocks technique. It's a simplified and more flexible version of the famous Pomodoro technique.
Focus blocks. I like that. It sounds manageable. How does it work in practice?
It's a system for training your concentration muscle in short, intense sprints. It works like this. First, you choose one important task that needs your attention. Just one. Second, you set a timer for a period of time that seems achievable. You can start with 30 or 40 minutes. Third, and this is the golden rule, during those 30 minutes, you have the permission and the obligation to be a digital hermit.
A digital hermit? What does that mean?
It means you close everything that isn't essential for that single task. Close the email tab. Close the chat program. Or at least set your status to busy and mute the notifications. Your entire universe for 30 minutes is that report document. The only rule is to work on the chosen task without interruptions.
So it's about creating a protective bubble around your attention for a short period. And what happens when the timer goes off?
When the timer goes off, you get a reward. You're allowed a 5 to 10-minute break. And on that break, you can do whatever you want. Stand up, stretch, drink some water, and yes, you can check your emails and messages. The break is as important as the focus, because it tells your brain, we're going to focus, but there will be a reward right after. This makes the process sustainable. After the break, you can start a new focus block.
You know, what I like most about this idea is the sense of permission. It's like giving yourself permission to not have to respond to everything and everyone immediately. We live with this pressure, often self-imposed, that if we don't reply in 5 minutes, we're failing. This technique gives you a structured excuse to disconnect.
Exactly. You're redefining expectations, starting with your own. And by working in blocks, you'll notice that you produce much higher quality work in a shorter amount of time. That 3-hour task turns into 2 40-minute blocks. And the feeling at the end is one of accomplishment, not exhaustion.
Okay, Alex, this all sounds wonderful, almost like a dream. Phone jail at home, focus blocks at work. I can see the value. But being realistic, I have to play devil's advocate here.
Please do. This is the crucial point.
In many jobs today, especially in remote or hybrid teams, collaboration is constant and rapid communication is valued. We need to be available. What if my boss sends me an urgent message on chat right in the middle of my focus block? What if a teammate needs a piece of information from me to unblock their work? I can't just ignore everyone for 40 minutes. I might seem selfish or like I'm not committed to the team.
That is the most common and most important objection. And it's completely valid. The solution for deep work in the modern world isn't total isolation, because that's unrealistic for most of us. The solution is intentionality and communication.
Intentionality and communication. What do you mean by that?
I mean that the master strategy, the thing that ties all of this together, is proactively communicating your intentions. Instead of just disappearing and leaving people wondering where you are, you give them a heads up. You manage expectations before you start your deep dive.
Okay, what would that look like in practice? What would I say?
It could be a simple message in your team's main chat channel. Something like, "Hey team, good morning. From 10 to 11 a.m., I'll be fully focused on finishing the first draft of the X report to ensure the highest quality. My notifications will be off during this time. If there's a true emergency, something that can't wait 60 minutes, please give me a call on my cell. Otherwise, I'll reply to all messages right after."
Ah, I get it. That changes everything. You're not ignoring people. You're being transparent about your work process. You're saying, I'm doing something important for our team, and to do it well, I need to focus. And you still give them an emergency exit, which is the phone call.
Precisely. You turn the act of concentrating from something that seems antisocial into an act of professionalism. You're actually respecting your colleagues and the work by ensuring you'll deliver your best. And 99% of daily emergencies can, in fact, wait an hour. People understand and respect that.
It's a mindset shift. Instead of seeing focus as a withdrawal, you see it as a commitment. And the idea of scheduling that time is powerful.
Exactly. The final secret is to treat your deep work like you treat an important meeting. You put it on your calendar. 9:30, 10:30 a.m. Focus block, write proposal. If someone tries to book a meeting with you at that time, they'll see you're busy. And you should respect that commitment to yourself just as you would respect a commitment to your boss. Because it's a meeting with your brain to produce the work that really matters.
That ties everything together in a very practical way. It's not about being a hermit. It's about being an architect of your own day and communicating the blueprints of your project so everyone knows what to expect.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the big takeaway is that our attention is possibly our most valuable and most contested asset in the 21st century. Everything and everyone is competing for a piece of it.
Absolutely. And if we aren't proactive and intentional about how we use it, it will be stolen from us, one click and one notification at a time. Protecting our attention isn't about being antisocial or working longer hours. It's about consciously deciding where we're going to invest our best and clearest energy.
To put it simply, to do incredible work and even to better enjoy our free time, we need to create small, sacred windows of time in our day where the outside world simply can't reach us. Whether that's putting the phone in jail or scheduling a focus block.
A perfect thought to end on. This was a conversation that gave me a lot of practical ideas to apply today.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation about finding depth in a world of shallows.
And now we want to hear from you. What's your biggest distraction during the day? Is it your phone? Is it emails? And which of these mini solutions are you going to try this week? Phone jail or focus blocks? Share your experience with us. And of course, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, and share. It really helps us continue to bring you these chats. See you next time.